Perfect performance. Let's go. Everyone, welcome back. American Blues Podcast after international break. Always a terrible time. Really, always on, worry about injuries happening. But thankfully, apart from Palmer, who somehow decided to break his pinky toe, huge disappointment because I really wanted to see him back against Barcelona Arsenal, but it is what it is. At least he didn't injure his groin again. Broken toe will eventually fix. That's not as big of a deal as a groin injury. But tough away game. Burnley, right after international break, early game, away, all the things set up to make us not play very well. And for the first 30 minutes, we did not play that well. We rested some key players today. Caicedo rested. Esteval, not a single minute. Garnacho didn't play. Fofana wasn't even on the subs bench. And then Achapam also didn't come on. So a lot of pretty important key rested players. Gusto only came on for the end for a few minutes, so it was a big change. And for the first 30 minutes, it was pretty rough, really rough moving the ball forward. They were breaking on us multiple times and was down to just really good last-ditch one-on-one defending by Andre Santos, who we'll get to in a second, and Trevor Chalobah. But overall, we weathered that storm, and then we grew into the game, got a little bit more control. And that key first goal from Gittins, who honestly I didn't think had a very good game at all, apart from that one assist, but really nice cross. And then Pedro Neto, nice, classy header finish. Yeah, and then that really set the tone for the rest of the game. And then Burnley did come back for a little bit at the end, but still, we weathered the storm. We scored that all-important second goal, which I have to give a lot of credit to Mark Guiu. He just has not seemed ready and has not really been that great all season. But yeah, for that goal, pretty much he created everything on his own. So fantastic. So overall, no complaints. This was a tough away match. This is something that we would have easily lost 2 seasons ago, easily tied last year, but this year managed to stick it out and win. And it puts us in second place. Again, only 3 points off Arsenal. Might only be for a few hours until City plays Newcastle. And, we don't know how the Arsenal-Tottenham game are going to go. Is going to go, but probably an Arsenal win. But we'll see. It's important to put on the pressure, and we can only win the game in front of us. So that's what we did. Very important and huge week coming up. Barcelona Tuesday, Arsenal at the weekend. Honestly, I think the Arsenal game is a little bit more important in terms of the overall table and team. Being able to take on the top of the league means a lot psychologically. But Barcelona is always Barcelona. There's so much history between Chelsea and Barcelona. And to beat them psychologically is huge. And especially if it turns into a Lamine Yamal versus Esteval conversation, which everybody pregame is going to be talking about. Which teenager is better? Who's worth more? Personally, I think Esteval has a higher ceiling because he's 2-footed. He seems a little bit more mature on the pitch and off the pitch than Lamine. But we'll see. But again, back to the Burnley game. Huge shout out. Andre Santos came in for Caicedo, who I think is the best midfielder on the planet. And he filled that role perfectly. This guy was everywhere today. He was cleaning up messes at the back, latched his tackles. He was intercepting in the middle of the field. He was progressing the ball forward. He was pressing. He was doing absolutely everything that Caicedo would have done this game. And yeah, incredible player that we have as backup. So could not have been happier for him. Wish he could have gotten a goal. He almost did, but that wasn't really his role today. His role was definitely just the sweeper, clean up everything that he can, and he did it to perfection. So I think it's a 10 out of 10 performance under Santos. Definitely man of the match. And then another big shout out is to Cucurella. I mean, this guy, he's always so goddamn good. Like, he nails that left back spot. He's really strong in defense, and he just floats everywhere. He just has such good understanding for what Maresca wants him to do. Almost like how Malo Gusto plays on the right side. He sometimes helps out in defense. Sometimes he'll help out in build up. Sometimes he'll be the first person making a run past the defense, which is what led to a really good chance, in the first goal. It was a really nice long ball from Tosin out to Cucurella. who made that run and then got the ball in their box, got a little bit lucky, and was able to pass it off. But yeah, like incredible player. And then another big shout out for Pedro Neto, who I think was much more decisive today. He was a clear out ball for a lot of our, goal kicks, and he took on his man. My only gripe is, especially in the first half, whenever he's just sprinting down and it's one-on-one, he tends to want to stop to assess the situation, when sometimes you just got to keep going or put in that early cross. That's something that I feel like Estevao does a lot better than Pedro Neto, is just when he's on run, he doesn't just stop and then assess, and see where players are. He just goes off an instinct. And that helps progress the play forward. That helps prevent their defense from setting up. Makes it easier for us to, get headers. But again, Neto, great back post goal. It wasn't an easy goal because it was kind of at this awkward, like mid body height where he had to get down. He had to put in a really nice weighted header across to the other side of goal. But regardless, great play. He played the full 90 minutes. I'm actually kind of glad that Estevao didn't come on for just a few minutes. I think it's always a little bit insulting to bring someone on in the last 5 minutes a game, especially a player as good as Estevao. I'd rather just him get rest, not risk any type of injury, and be fully ready for Barcelona and Arsenal. I think Champions League and those big games is where he is absolutely going to shine. But please, Maresca, you have got to use Estevao in those games. You have to. I know Maresca loves Neto, and he's the more senior player. He's more experienced. He can track back better. But Estevao is so much better going forward. And against that high line of Barcelona, I think we're going to absolutely tear them apart. Either player, honestly. And I'd rather see Garnacho midweek too on the left side. I just think he's a lot more experienced and he's a lot more consistent than Gittins, where you can tell this game he had several just kind of like loose touches, loose passes, taking people one-on-one and they're not really sure what to do afterwards. It's just inexperience, right? Inexperience of youth. And I think over time, he should be getting better. Apart from that, I want to give a big shout out to Mark Guiu, second goal. He came on. Like I said, Guiu has just been too young, too inexperienced. Earlier this season, Maresca didn't really want to play him because he wasn't training well. But this goal, all on him, really good, line-breaking pass to him. But he still had a lot to do. He wasn't really in a position to score, and then he put the ball around the defender and then just bullied him out of the way. And instead of trying to take goal himself at a really tough angle, which I don't actually think there would have been too many options for scoring, he decided to put in a really nice pass out to Enzo, free middle of the box. Really hard to mess up that shot, but gave us that all-important second goal. Basically put the game to bed. Exactly what he wanted. It's the worst feeling in the world with these games where you're still just up 1-0 at the end and any crazy shit can happen where you can tie or even lose the game, which we've done plenty in the past, So really nice on Guiu. Really good for his confidence. Only other thing is Delap, I don't think had a very good game at all. He made some really odd decisions. He had poor touches. There was one good hold-up play, and then he decided to run it himself where he had two passing options that would have been way better and just blasted way over the bar. Like, this is still just him being inexperienced. I do expect more from Delap as pretty much our only senior striker besides João Pedro, who's not really even a striker. Like, Delap definitely needs to perform better against teams like Burnley, because if he can't do it against Burnley, it's going to be really hard to rely on him against Barcelona and Arsenal. I like his spirit. I like that he wants to fight the defenders. But he needs to do that smartly, and then he needs to be better in build-up and getting hold of the ball, and his final third decision-making has got to be better than what it was today. But hopefully, he did just recently come back from a long time out. He got that stupid red card. So hopefully he's still getting back into it. But, yeah, game by game, he's got to show a little bit more than that. But overall, yeah, no real complaints. This was a must-win game, but it was a very tough game, a game that is very easy to drop points in. So I'm just glad that we got full 3 points. We're still keeping pressure on the two, leaders, City and Arsenal right now. And most importantly, we got through the international break without any major injuries except for Palmer. We won this game without arguably our two best players in Palmer and Estevao. And now all of our most important players are fully fit to face Barcelona, Arsenal, which I cannot wait for those two games. I am so excited. But I will be on vacation, Thanksgiving break, seeing family. Probably not going to be recording, but I will be enjoying those games nonetheless. So see you guys after the holidays. Peace.